It's called Don't Fuck with Cats. You
Yeah,
heard
I've
of
been
it?
hearing a lot about that one.
Do you know the premise?
Vaguely. So, and correct me when you hear something that is incorrect and or stupid. So, I guess it's basically
Stop
one of
right
those.
there.
Okay, that was quick. So it's one of those documentaries that basically shows. I don't know what you'd even call that kind of this phenomenon, but they're like internet forensic,
Yeah.
like investigators, basically.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that that 4chan like campaign against Shia LaBeouf?
Oh, yeah.
When he
The
put up
capture
that
the flag.
Yeah, totally. And the people, like, it was like a flag that was,
I mean,
like, he will not divide us. And it was like a camera that was pointed up into the flag.
I mean, I like Shia LaBeouf, but that shit was funny.
I think it was super hilarious. He's kind of hit and miss with me. I think he's a good actor. I think some of his, I think he's trying desperately to break into like a true artist and to really break the boundaries of that kind of thing. And if and now and then when you're doing that kind of eccentric thing, you kind of not all of them are home runs. You know what I mean? You have some kind of swing and misses there, and I just gets a lot of shit for a lot of that. But a lot of it is due. But these people on the internet basically used how the camera was focused upward and could catch like.
They caught airplanes
and
like at nighttime it was the constellations.
Yeah, and like cars driving by and like honking of horns and stuff like that. And they basically were able to like
figure out where the camera was,
pinpoint it, find it, grab it, and basically like, you know, just kind of give it a shot.
It is a lot like that. If that stuff is interesting to you, the way that you can use the internet and social media and stuff.
Love that kind of stuff. And it has to do with like some weirdos online who did like horrible things involving animals.
There was a guy posting a video doing some terrible things to cats, and that started this, you know, there was a group of people who got really angry about it, obviously, and they started a group to try to find out who this was and bring him to justice.
Like a internet vigilante,
right?
Virtual vigilante group.
They go this global search, and you know, there's little clues, and then he starts posting other videos because he wants to be caught, you know, or wants the attention rather.
Right. Well, same thing, maybe. You know what I mean? Like it's a small difference in what you're talking about right there, because a lot of these people that do a lot of these horrible things or whatever, they want to be caught because they want the attention, they want the credit, they want they want people to know that they exist.
Yeah, there's 3 parts. They're each like an hour long. It's not super long. It's not as long as like Wild Wild Country or any of that.
Love that documentary.
Yeah, but
highly recommend watching that.
But it was. There's a couple things I didn't like about it, but I can't talk about what I didn't like about it without telling you.
Without spoiling it.
Yeah, pretty much. So. And just as a warning, if anybody's listening to this, like it does have to deal with animal torture, but it doesn't really get graphic about it.
So they don't do like the torture porn part of it, where like
they don't really show the entire video. They kind of describe it.
Gotcha.
And there were some parts that I just didn't even look at the screen because I know they wouldn't show like the graphic parts, but I just didn't want to let my mind go there. You know?
Totally. So, some shows, they're just like too graphic, dude. And I never thought I'd find myself saying that because there's this one show that I really like called Mindhunters. And it's basically about like how they use the creation of psychological profiling in order to catch serial killers, right? Basically, and it's super good, but I only saw like maybe like an episode because it was so graphic and it was just like pictures that they were showing, but like it was like of like this kid that was like little kid that was like murdered and stuff, dude. And it was and in the most
like crime scene
effed
photos
up way. Yes, dude. And dude, you know me, I've got a little toddler, bro. Like I was like, you know what? I don't need to fill my mind with this shit, dude. I'm okay. Like I don't need to like every episode be like, how would I feel if my child was brutally like sodomized and murdered or whatever? And then I'm watching these pictures of it or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're just like, it bums me out because I really like the psychology, the psychological analysis angle of like murder mystery, you know, shows and stuff like that or whatever, especially involving like serial killers and why they do what they do. Because I find like psychology insanely fascinating.
Yeah, of course.
So it's kind of lame that I can't like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting older. I'm becoming more of like a pussy. But I don't know. Either way.
Well, that is definitely a natural part of being an investigator of crimes.
Cold, basically, like completely emotionally detached.
Yeah, you have to experience some terrible shit.
How can you do that as a human being?
Yeah,
just switch it off. Like, nope, totally fine. No, I'm not going to bring that home to my wife and talk to her about it when I'm waking up in the middle of the night screaming in cold sweats from the nightmares that I have of seeing all the people's eyes who I fucking investigated.
Yeah.
Does it have a happy ending? Do they catch the guy?
The documentary?
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Yes.
They catch the guy.
Yeah. Fuck you, guy.
It's very intricate. It goes from like it ends up going from like Canada to France to Germany. It's crazy.
As far as places of like intrigue, as far as like, hey, maybe he's here, maybe he's here.
Yeah, he keeps moving because he's planned all this out in advance. He has this crazy obsession with serial killers, and he wants to try to imitate them.
How? I thought this dude was like a kid.
He's in his 20s.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he's old enough to like have like a job and money and fly around and all this stuff.
Yeah, he's made a lot of money, and he's planned this escape plan for years
like
in advance.
American Psycho wannabe, dude.
He actually has another thing about his personality is he has an obsession with movies and
that's
Christian
like
Bale's, yeah, and Basic Instinct, and yeah, he has an obsession with that sort of thing. So
what the fuck? And so he's doing it to cats.
Well, he starts with cats, but as you probably know from watching other crime stories, that usually leads to
other things because you kind of
it's a warning sign for psychopathy.
You take larger steps each time or whatever. That was like that with the Golden State Killer. For the longest time, he would just break into people. He was like a prowler. He'd break into people's houses and just fuck with them. Yeah, like move furniture around, make himself a fucking sandwich,
right?
Weird shit like that or whatever, and then just leave. Or like leave something from somebody else's house there or something, and then he started like stealing stuff, and then he started breaking in. And
the rush doesn't do it for a while anymore, and you got to do something else.
Worse and worse and worse. Yep. I don't remember everything that happened with it, but it reminds me of this case out of I think like the Ukraine or maybe it was like Romania or one of those like kind of Eastern Balkan, Eastern European countries of this horrible video of someone filming it and another person participating in taking like a giant like just maybe like a big 4x4 railroad tie or something that you could like swing and it's this young man smashing a like dead body's like face in basically like in the woods or something like that or whatever, and it's just like a little clip and it went like super viral, and this was like in the early like 90s or something, like right when the internet was becoming this kind of a mainstream thing, right? And people were in all kinds of effed up like chat rooms and
deep whatever. Web stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it come to find out that these kids, and this was just part of this long video that they recorded of them like slowly going down this path of like torturing like cats and stuff, and like hanging them up in like crucifixes and just jacked up stuff like that, and then they eventually stalk some person. They're just sitting in the back of a car filming, and they're like seeing somebody walk by, and they're like, "What about that one?" Like, no, this, that, or the other, whatever. Like, okay, what about this one? Like, okay, this one's alone, and like assessing everybody and sizing them all up and stuff, and they find some old dude who's just walking home to his fucking elderly wife or whatever, you know. And they kidnap him and just murder him in the most brutal fucking fashion. Then they post the video. And because people were so fucking outraged, they did the same thing where they kind of hunted them down using, just whatever.
It must have been harder back in those days.
Way harder because nobody has like their profiles and stuff anymore. We could just go on to, or we're about to talk freaking later. We could just like type in the facial recognition software like company program, and then you can just be like, oh, who are these guys? Oh, there's Todd and Bill Schmeckelson from Romania. Yeah, right here. Bam. But yeah, anyway, the good news is they caught those guys, and he was the only person that they murdered, thankfully. So good.
Yeah. And this documentary is also crazy because the killer, he knows how to use the internet and everything. So, and he's good at Photoshop or whatever. And so, he's deliberately leaving clues to mislead him and throw him off. And stuff. He joins their group and starts fucking antagonizing them. And at one point he posts a video of one of the people who has like an anonymous profile, but he posts a video of like her workplace, and it's just he's like effing with her. It gets really really
that's
dark.
Like that's a way more interesting like angle on it that I hadn't thought of.
Yeah, and one of the other things the documentary does that I liked is it kind of deals with I guess the guilt that the group has because they were the ones watching the video and trying to hunt him down, and that was kind of feeding his like his need for attention. Yeah. So did we maybe push him to do these other things that he ends up doing?
Yeah. I mean, that's always a concern you want to have. But at the same time, I guess I would say don't try not to worry about that too much, only because like people like that need justice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, we don't need to make martyrs or celebrities out of these scumbags, but people should know who he is. Now, I'm actually kind of torn on this belief about like whether or not, for instance, like mass shooters should be named in the media.
I was just thinking that.
Because on the one hand, I'm like, well, no, because we're aggrandizing these people and we're giving them the platform to spout their bullshit, their nonsense that they typically
you're giving them the infamy that they want.
Exactly, their fame and stuff like that. And a lot of people have like a lot of these wannabes have like body count like
obsessions.
Yeah, exactly. I want to have more than these, or more brutal than the last dude, or whatever, for that exact same reason of like a higher position on the social hierarchy or whatever. And but then another part of me thinks that like, well, dude, if we don't name these people and we just keep them quiet, then things can happen, and you can just be like, who did it? Whoa, just whoever, just some nameless rando.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So like an accountability thing of actually making a trail.
Yeah, and it's like, what's to stop something from happening unorganically or like staged or something, and then people are like, who did it? Who cares who did it? Just some rando, like some fucking psycho. It's like, just insert whoever you want into here. Whatever. We don't name names anymore, so nobody can do any research and background on who this person was. Why did they snap?
That is a slippery slope.
Were they related to any like government agencies that maybe would like lead them to a different like wait a minute, what's going on here? You know what I mean? There's 100 questions. You know what I mean? But I don't know. It's a delicate line to balance on. Face to face shorts.